Okay, there are so many ways that we can promote of how to homeschool, and just deciding on what is the correct way and remembering that homeschooling doesn't fit into a box. Welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. I have graduated 2. This school year I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. Today I want to talk about there's many different ways of homeschooling. And I'm not just talking about your curriculum style, but I'm just talking about your way of life when you're homeschooling. And this has just been something that I feel like is becoming more broad in the selections of different ways to homeschool. And I'm wondering, do we really have to pick one way and put ourselves in that box? So I just want to give you some thoughts about that. Now, I know I have mentioned personally on my channel that we like to follow a Charlotte Mason style, but we are an eclectic homeschool family. But I'm thinking about all the different things I've said. I've talked about how I do interest-led learning. When the kids were younger, we like to do hands-on activities. And I also had a struggling learner that I had to learn how to help him through his homeschool journey. So I feel like I really can't stick that in one box and say this is how we homeschool, because each family is going to have different children, different circumstances that arise, different years that may entail different things, whether it be a newborn, whether it be maybe some health issues, maybe there's a move. So many different circumstances can arise very quickly sometimes and unexpectedly, and you may have to make some changes. So I'm just wanting to encourage you that homeschooling this school year, which I pray it has been. I pray that it's been a good journey this school year. And you may have picked a specific style of homeschooling and it's going well. You have your curriculum and it's going well. And I think that's wonderful. But there's that temptation to look beyond and see what other people are doing and wondering, well, maybe I'm doing it wrong, when really you're not. If your kids are learning and you as a family have prayed about how you want to implement things and everybody's thriving and you're enjoying it, I mean, there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be days that are rough. That's just part of having kids and a family and responsibilities and teaching them new things. Also want to say, sometimes we might go through that same journey and realize, okay, maybe what they're doing might help me. Maybe I should try to implement it. And you do, and you're like, why didn't I think of that before? Why didn't I know about that? And it was very helpful. I hope that's all making sense. We sort of like have our family and we're homeschooling, but we like to look around. That's what homeschoolers do, to see what other people are doing. And then there's also that pressure of when we're asked, oh, you homeschool, what curriculum do you use? And how many hours a day do you homeschool? And you're sort of like backing off, getting a little too close for comfort, because you can't, for me, maybe it's just me, I feel like I can't even describe it in a sentence of how we have homeschooled this school year. And in the past, it's just been probably looked a little different almost every year or every few years. So keep that in mind, that there will be change. When you have change going on around you, your schooling will change, because homeschooling is a part of life. We are supposed to be not only teaching our kids academics, but we're supposed to be teaching them in every aspect of life, along with the things of the Lord and along with responsibilities, teaching them responsibilities, and that as they grow into an adult, this is how you do it. This is how you manage it. So there is so much than just the academics. And that, I just feel like sometimes it can be overwhelming when somebody asks you, I don't know, is it just me? I wish I was a little bit more confident. I'm telling you all because I've had time to process it and think about it, but I really cannot put myself in a box. This school year is probably one of my most different years than anything I can describe. We are definitely using a curriculum which we are enjoying, and my high schooler is plucking along with his curriculum. We've changed his schedule, and by the way, that is going much better, but he is working a lot. So I am more laid back with my 6th grader than I probably have ever been. But he learns different, and that is what I'm working around. He's doing great with reading and math. Just bought him some books for his birthday, and I'm trying to spread them out, and that's not possible. He just boom, boom, boom wants to read them all, which is great. And I'll probably be sharing those with you. He's just read a lot this school year, so I thought maybe I might do that if you're interested. But there are so many different styles. I feel like there can be that pull of this is the way you should do it. But the problem is those different styles are so broad, and that family is not your family. So I'm just trying to encourage you to keep those things in mind as you are finishing a school year. And if you're anything like me, you're thinking about the next school year and making plans. So if what you and your family are doing is working, I say continue on and don't feel like you have to explain away how you are doing it. So there are different styles out there, and I am going to mention some of them because I don't feel like I can say that I fit into any of them. And that is all right. That's okay. We have always done academics. I did have one that struggled, and he was a late reader, and we worked through that. I do feel like for our family, and that's how it is with any, I feel like you will have certain things that are important to you and your family. I know for us that, I felt like teaching my kids to read was important. And having that one that was struggling really be my first one to teach, I had to step back a little bit and realize that it's okay if it's not going to look like so-and-so. At the same time, he had a younger brother that was catching up with him. And the funny thing is, and it was just something that was important to our family, it is the reading of the Bible. And we would even use the Bible to read from. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So just start in Genesis. So once they were even reading just a little bit, that was something that they look forward to picking out and getting and being able to carry to church. So just little things like that was something that worked for our family and for our boys, and it may have looked different for each one of them. And I don't feel like it ever was a competition. I think there was enough age gap that it wasn't like that. So, and there are different styles, as I had mentioned I was going to say, and I don't even know what they all are. I'm just knowing like there's the traditional style. There is the Charlotte Mason style. There is the interest-led, and then there is the student-led, which I think is turned more into the unschooling term, and I know there's several others. So for us, we can't fit ourselves into any of those boxes because we use a variety. We do a variety. We're definitely use curriculum. We definitely are an interest-led family. My boys have always found things that they can do. They spent a lot of time outside building, creating, and I really do encourage that. And sometimes that's hard for a family that may not live in an area where they have that opportunity. But I know for us, and for my thoughts on that, is that God has put every child in the family that He knows is best for them because He has a purpose and a plan for that child, and He's entrusted them to you. So just pray about it and just ask the Lord for creativity to open doors. And I feel like even for us in different circumstances, and I've mentioned this before, that He has done that for us. Like I didn't really know what to do with a certain one. I just prayed about it and God provided. So I just want to encourage you with that. And I think one thing that is sort of important for us in our homeschool journey is to help our boys think for themselves. And I remember when my oldest was younger and he had this idea of building something, and I think he had a couple of the materials he wanted. And I said, look, I can guarantee you, if you think about it real hard and go out in the garage, Daddy is going to have something. Because he was thinking that he needed something and that we were going to go buy it. I wasn't going to go buy it. So he was going to have to figure out and make this with what he already had. So, and he did. He surprisingly, I think he just thought it was the best thing because of that. Because he was able to be creative and use what we already had and come up with something. So, and that has looked different for each child and the things and the journeys they've had to go through. Even my second, he wanted either a project or to do something. Well, sometimes it was something they had to buy. Well, they had to save up and make plans. And it was fun to watch them do that and how God would provide ways to earn the money. It really was. And it wasn't even through us giving allowance or anything. It was just opportunities the Lord opened for them. And I always encourage them, if it's something that you have a desire to do, just pray that the Lord would open the door and that he would give you the money and things like that. So I know this video is probably a little bit more chatty than specific, but I just wanted to share some thoughts. Like I said, as you're finishing up this school year, thinking about next school year, just to encourage you. Think about where you're at, what's working, what's not working. Do I want to be extreme about one particular way of homeschooling? Or do I have some things that I know are important to our family that I want to implement? And then add in different things here and there. All right, I hope this was helpful in some way. If you have specific questions and want more information on anything that I have mentioned, please comment below. I do appreciate you all watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.